Modern science has given us this incredible, almost unbelievable power over the physical world. But here's the big question. Has it given us the meaning and the wisdom to actually handle it? Today, we're going to dig into a pretty provocative idea that science, for all its amazing achievements, might be facing a crisis of its very own making.
And that's really where this quote from Albert Einstein just hits home. He absolutely nailed the core of the problem. His words point to this massive disconnect, right? A huge gap between what we can do with technology and our moral maturity to handle it. We've literally developed world-changing power, but have we developed a new way of thinking we need to manage it?
Okay, so to really get a feel for this disconnect, we need to go back in time, back to a single, specific moment in history when this godlike power was unleashed for the very first time, a moment that changed absolutely everything.
Imagine this. It's 5:29 in the morning, July 16th, 1945. And in the New Mexico desert, it suddenly becomes hotter than the surface of the sun. A mushroom cloud starts climbing 7 miles into the sky. And the massive steel tower that held the device, it just vanished, gone. In its place, a crater of strange, green, radioactive glass. This was the Trinity test. And with that flash, humanity crossed a line, and there was just no going back.
And in that moment, this moment of terrible, awe-inspiring success, the project's leader, J. Robert Oppenheimer, his mind didn't jump to a physics equation. No, it went somewhere else entirely, to ancient scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. He understood on a deep, almost spiritual level, the monumental power they had just created.
Now compare that to the test director, Kenneth Bainbridge. His reaction? Way more visceral. You could say it was a bit more blunt. Where Oppenheimer was poetic, Bainbridge was raw. But both quotes, they point to the exact same terrifying realization. They had done something irreversible, and the moral weight of it was immediate and absolutely crushing. So these two reactions, they really bring us right to the heart of this whole paradox. Science had delivered mastery, the power to literally unmake the world. But it came with no instruction manual on meaning, no guide on how to use that power wisely. And what you see here is this fundamental split. On one side, science gives us this extraordinary power. It is fantastic at answering the how. But on the other side, it often just ignores the deeper why, the context, the purpose. It's like science can tell you exactly how to build a bomb, but it's totally silent on whether you should. And that's the danger, right? That is mastery without meaning.
All right, so how did we even get to this point? This isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. It's actually a structural problem, and it's built on 4 interconnected failures deep within the scientific worldview itself.
Okay, first we've got something called reductionism. This is the whole idea of understanding something by breaking it down into its tiniest pieces. And don't get me wrong, it's incredibly powerful. It's how we build computer chips, how we develop medicines, but it has its limits. By focusing so intensely on the individual trees, we can completely miss the dynamics of the entire forest. This approach really struggles with these super complex interconnected systems, like a whole ecosystem, or all the different things that lead to chronic disease.
Next up, number 2, fragmentation. Science has pretty much become a collection of these deep but really narrow specialties. So everyone's an expert in their own little silo, but what we've created is a kind of Tower of Babel, where the virologist, the economist, and the psychologist, they all struggle to even speak the same language. The COVID-19 pandemic, that showed us in stark terms just how dangerous this can be when you're facing a problem that demands a single unified response.
And number 3 is something called institutional capture. Look, science doesn't happen in a magical vacuum. It happens inside our economic and political systems. And when powerful interest, think of the fossil fuel industry funding climate doubt, or drug companies funding research on their own products, can influence what questions get asked and what results get published, it just chips away at the most important thing science has, which is our trust.
And that brings us to the 4th and final failure, the exclusion of consciousness itself. Our own inner worlds. Science is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant at mapping the objective material universe. But it has almost nothing to say about subjective experience, what it actually feels like to be you. By putting consciousness, meaning, and values off to the side, it gives us this immense technical power, but with no moral compass to guide it. And this right here really brings it all home. It's so simple, but so powerful. A doctor needs a number, right? A piece of data to put in a box on a form. But the patient's actual experience, their suffering, their fear, their grief, that doesn't fit in a box. And this is where all those abstract failures we've been talking about become incredibly real and deeply personal.
Right, so these failures aren't just ideas to kick around in a classroom. No, they have severe, real-world consequences. Let's dig into two major crises that are basically direct results of this whole dynamic.
Let's start with the opioid epidemic. It began with reductionism, taking complex human suffering and boiling it down to a single number on a pain scale. Then came institutional capture, as corporate-funded science deliberately downplayed addiction risks, and ultimately, the entire system was weaponized, causing just devastating harm. It's a truly tragic case study of what happens when science's blind spots are exploited.
Okay, case study number 2, the replication crisis. So, replication is the bedrock of scientific trust, right? It's how we check to make sure a finding is real and not just a fluke. Well, a huge project tried to replicate 100 prominent psychology studies, and the results were, frankly, shocking. Nearly 2/3 of them failed to replicate. What does it even mean when that bedrock starts to crumble? And look, this isn't just a one-off thing in psychology. A survey in the journal Nature found that over 70% of scientists have tried and failed to reproduce another researcher's work. This kind of erosion of trust, it weakens the very foundation of knowledge we all rely on for making policies on everything from our schools to our healthcare.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis. And yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff. But, and this is a big but, the story doesn't end there. There are new approaches emerging, what you might call regenerative strands, all working toward a wiser, more complete kind of science.
And look, the goal here is not to throw out the scientific method, not at all. It's about expanding it, making it wiser. This means we supplement reductionism with systems thinking, focusing on the whole forest, not just the trees. It means rebuilding trust with open science, making data and methods totally transparent. It means integrating first-person experience, valuing our inner lives right alongside objective data, and it means both democratizing science through citizen participation and also learning from deep wells of indigenous knowledge. This is all about evolving science so it can actually tackle the unbelievably complex challenges we're facing today.
And this really is what it all comes down to. Science is, without a doubt, our best tool for understanding reality. It can give us the data, it can sound the alarm, and tell us with terrifying precision that our house is on fire. But it can't, by itself, answer the most important questions of all. What do we value? What is actually worth saving? And what kind of world, after the fire, is truly worth rebuilding? That's a question for all of us to answer together.